types as apiaries. Today we're going to take you through a hive and what we do for a basic hive inspection. So what you're going to need in order to do a basic hive inspection is this stuff. I've got a smoker which we've lit earlier. I invested really early on in a frame holder and I found it very useful because then you don't have to put your frames on the ground. You're obviously going to need your hive tool. If you watched my video the other day, you'd know that this is my favourite one and I'm going to use that one to do today. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this box off, chuck a queen excluder under it so that we know our queen isn't in the top box, and we can remove that box in a few weeks time once all the brood's hatched and get it ready for winter. So I'm going to give the girls a bit of a puff of smoke, we'll get into the hive and we'll show you some action in there soon. Alrighty, pull it off. Now with a bit of luck the girls would have glued this down, so you need to get your hive tool under it. Flip her over. And we're going to start our inspection in the top here. This is a relatively calm hive, so we don't necessarily need too much smoke for them. So what we're looking at in this top box here, I've already taken a frame out to give us some space, and the girls are working just the left hand side of the box because they know that the cold's coming and they want to get this hive as small as possible. So we'll go ahead and pull a couple of frames out, we'll show you what we're looking at, and hopefully we don't find the queen up here so that we can get rid of this box. So as you can see, those frames are still stuck together. I just use my hive tool to gently pull them apart, and I'll push that right over to give me some more room. Once you've got a bit of room in your hive, you can just get in there with your fingers, and this is pretty much exactly what we wanted to see in this hive. As you can see in there, they're just collecting the last of the honey out, potentially storing a bit more because they don't need to put brood up here. But what we're not seeing, which is ideal, is any brood cappings or any eggs. So we'll carry on just inspecting this hive, making sure the queen's not up here, and we'll catch you in a minute once we're in the bottom hive looking at the real exciting stuff. So just in the bottom of this frame, if you look, unfortunately we've found some brood up here, so we are going to have to put a queen excluder in. You might see one of the cappings is sort of half chewed open and a bee's starting to emerge from it. That's a pretty cool sign to see. I've never actually seen that in the hive before, so it's pretty awesome to be able to see that process happening. So in this one you can see the girls are starting to store or use up some honey, probably storing it because there's brood up here. The darker patches in there are pollen that they're bringing in, which is their protein source. I doubt I'll find the queen on here, but I've got to have a little bit of a look so we might be able to see it for you. I didn't see the queen in there, so I'm going to pop this box on the ground. We're going to start working the boxes below it. Hopefully we'll find the queen down there, and then we can exclude this brood so that in a couple of weeks, once it's all hatched, we can remove this box completely, knowing that we're not taking the queen. Alrighty, we're now in what I call the main part of the brood box. You see there's a lot more bees sitting on top here, but they're still quite calm considering we're essentially invading their home to do this. So I'm just going to separate all the frames off, and so that we can get in there. Again, I'm going to take a frame out. I'm going to put this one in my frame holder just so that we get a bit of room to work here. Now one of the risks when you're separating frames like this is you're potentially squashing the queen, but we're just running a bit of a gamble that most beekeepers probably do, that she isn't hanging out on the top of the frame, because usually that's where they put their honey, not their brood. Take this frame out. So as you can see, they're just starting to cap honey on that side, which is pretty cool. and they're going to have some drawn comb. Oop, flip it around that way, on the other side, ready to fill with their honey. This is one of the reasons we want to take that top box off, because we want them to be putting honey in this part of the hive for winter. If I was to pull this frame out, it's a reasonably heavy frame, and the reason for that is it's completely full on this side of capped honey. So the white capping's pretty good indication that I've got enough moisture out of this honey for them, and if we were extracting honey, this is sort of what we'd be looking for. Put that one back in for them. And one of the main things I'm looking for in this chamber, or this part of the hive, I'm just taking a look down the frames here. If all I'm seeing is honey, I'm not going to inspect it because the queen shouldn't be on there. But if I start to see brood, I will pull the frame out and have a good look at it. Might have brood on it. Perfect. As we can see here, something's blowing on the bees, will move them for you. As we can see there, we've got some nice brood, capped and hatched brood chambers there, and that's pretty good laying pattern there, with a little bit of honey at the corners to help keep and insulate that brood. Now this could be a good frame to try and find the queen on there. One thing when you're looking for a queen, a lot of people get sort of mistaken with are drones. So drones are male bees, and they are also quite big, but the queen is the longest bee in the colony. This queen, when she went in November, was marked with a green dot, so hopefully that might make her easier to find. I've looked through that box fully. I couldn't find the queen in there, but there's plenty of brood, which is awesome, and plenty of honey for them for winter. So I'll take this box off, have a look in the bottom box, and hopefully find the queen for you. Let's give them a quick puff of smoke just in case they decide to get titchy with me. Stick the frame holder in. Looking in that bottom box there, it's obvious to me that this hive has decided to build its brood chamber in the middle of the three boxes. A number of reasons why they might do that. It's probably warmer for them, and they like to keep their brood warm, and they probably blocked this bottom hive up with honey during the flow, and are now eating it all so that they can create some space. So we'll chuck this hive back together, put the lid back on it, and we'll go through another hive and put a winter varroa treatment in it. So we're going to assume that our queen is in with the bulk of her brood, and put our queen excluder on here. I will just quickly check and make sure she's not on here before I put it on, because we don't want her locked in the top. What this does is it has these little gaps in it, which the worker bees can fit through if you just saw that one go through, but the queen is too big to fit through. Well, that's the end of this episode. We got into the hives today, which hopefully was a good look for you, and hopefully some insight into how the world of bees works. Join us next time where we put in our winter varroa treatment. Have a good day, everyone. Go on, Archie, show them where that subscribe button is.